Good morning. I'm Gary Hall, the Dean of the Cathedral, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you here this morning for this special program with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Thank you all for joining us today. This program is part of Washington National Cathedral's mission to promote interfaith dialogue and to convene conversations that address the great questions and issues before us. And there is no better person to help us think through those great questions than the Dalai Lama. This program is offered in partnership with the Office of Tibet, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank them for all of their help and their support. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Right Reverend Marianne Edgar Buddy, who is the Episcopal Bishop of Washington, who will introduce His Holiness.
Good morning. It is my privilege to introduce and welcome His Holiness the Dalai Lama to this cathedral. This is the fourth time we have been honored with his presence here. The last time was in 2003 for a commemoration of 9/11, and we are so pleased to welcome him back. Tenzin Gyatso, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, is the spiritual and temporal leader of the Tibetan people. He was born in 1935 to a peasant family in a small village in northeastern Tibet. At the age of 2, His Holiness was recognized in accordance with Tibetan tradition as the reincarnation of his predecessor, the 13th Dalai Lama. His Holiness is an incarnation of Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion. In addition to many honorary doctorates and awards, His Holiness is the recipient of the 2012 Templeton Prize for his engagement with religion and science. This morning, he will offer a talk entitled Beyond Religion, Ethics for the Whole World. Please join me in welcoming His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Perhaps, I think I got one. Okay. Thank you. Then I can see your face more clearly. Too much light, difficult. Respected spiritual brothers, elder brothers and sisters, and then rest brothers, sisters. I feel great honor on my talk arranged in the famous cathedral of the capital of the United States. Great honor. Now, we are the 21st century. In spite of many sort of development, mainly in technology, and also I think economy, health, in many fields, and also I think the religious harmony also, I think generally speaking, really, I think, progress. And I think generally people everywhere desire for peace very strong. And people, I think now everywhere, really feel violence is not the right method. So people really get stronger feeling of fed up about violence. So these are positive trend. So because of that reality, now we really need further constant effort to create happier humanity, happier century. We should not neglect like previous century of bloodshed, century of violence. That kind of century should not repeat.
Continue.
So firstly, I want to touch my so one commitment. Another commitment is promotion of religious harmony. Since I think 40 years, I think, as a Buddhist monk, and stay in India. So in India, I think in modern India, almost whole world major religious tradition live there. Generally, very harmonious. Recently I met one Romanian. He carries some research work about religious harmony in India. So he told me he visited one Muslim village, according to India's sort of size. The village means at least I think a few thousand population. So he found in that Muslim village only 3 Hindu families, no fear, completely safe. Then also the Zoroastrian, Parsi, from
Iran.
Ancient time, from Iran. They come, they settle, mainly in one big city, Bombay. Population less than 100,000, but no fear, no persecution there.
Persecution.
Like that. So then, yes, religious harmony is very possible. One big country, over 1,000 years, religious harmony there. In intellectual level, of course, discussions or debate, sometimes heated debate, but respect each other. So therefore, since one ancient nation, and also now today, I think most populated democratic country, India. And India, not easy, complicated country. However, this is religious harmony, there, very possible. So therefore, I fully committed to promote religious harmony. Genuine harmony must come from heart, not just a few moments, happy meeting, big smile, exchange some few nice words. Not that way. From whole, deep, from the heart, admire the different religious tradition and appreciation and awareness. Humanity need these different major religious tradition. Then often in the philosophical field we find big differences. Even within India's own traditions, Jainism, Buddhism, different Hinduism, big differences. But all should carry message, practice of non-violence, practice of love, compassion. So now, all religions, major religions, major religion means religions with certain concept or philosophical sort of background. You see, those all religions carry same message, same practice of love, sense of care of other, and serving other, helping other. So, and also, you see, practice of compassion, not easy in our emotion, anger, hatred, fear. These are also the counterforce for love or compassion. So therefore, all major religious tradition also, you see, carry same message or same practice of forgiveness, practice of tolerance. And also these, anger, hatred, very much related with self-centered attitude. And that also related with greed. So too much greed. Then sometimes you see jealousy, distrust, all these also come. Therefore, all major religious tradition teach us contentment or simplicity. Then, of course, the Christian brothers, sisters, I think really made greatest contribution for education and health in
all over the world.
All over the world. Some area in India, quite remote, so modern facility not there, so difficult. But we can see some sisters, mainly sisters, and also brothers, they totally dedicated serving others. All these sort of enthusiasm or willpower come from not money or name, simply their faith. Serving poor people is the best way serving God. So your faith really works. And one my Muslim friend say, genuine practitioner of Islam must extend love towards entire creature of Allah. And serious practitioner of Islam create bloodshed, then no longer genuine practitioner of Islam. So all religion is to carry is the same message. Then, yes, there are big differences in the philosophical field. I think one sort of the most sort of the contradictions. The most of religions believe creator. I am Buddhist, no concept of creator. So according to you also to believe, I am non-believer. So, but you see, same practice. So different sort of philosophical views is simply a different method, different way of approach. It is necessary. I always telling people, within Buddhist, follow of same teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, he taught different philosophical views. These different philosophy actually contradiction each other. So I sometimes, with respect to Buddha, I sometimes make a little joke. Contradictory philosophy or teaching taught by same teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, not due to his own confusion. One day, one place, he taught something. Another place, another occasion, another group of people, he taught something different. So Buddha's own mind, not very certain. No, certainly not. Nor he deliberately tried to create more confusion among his disciples. No, Buddha compassionate was. So then answer is, different people, different individual, different mental disposition. Therefore, it is necessary to different way of approach, different philosophical views. Same aim to bring inner peace, inner strength, and rigorously practice love, compassion, forgiveness, these things. So to some people, the concept of creator is very, very powerful. One, my Christian friend, I asked, according Christianity, if you accept previous life, and he said, no.
What is the problem now? What is the problem?
What is the problem? And he said, this very life created by God. So that very, very powerful sort of the concept. This very life given by God. So you naturally develop very sort of close intimacy feeling with God as a father. So more that feeling, more willingness to follow our Father's guidance. The Father itself, the God itself, they like infinite love. So we created by that kind of infinite love. And then since we created by God, so I think the children carry some kind of genes from father. So similarly, each creature have some kind of sparks of God. So that very, very powerful sort of concept. Self-confidence and willingness to follow the God's path. So wonderful. Now I am Buddhist. I also have to say something about Buddhist way of approach. No creator, but law of causality. Not only Buddhism, but Jainism, and also one part of Sankhyaism. Very, very ancient Indian tradition. No creator, but actually oneself as a creator. Because our experiences, is a result of our action that we call karma, action. So action of individual. So therefore, judging sort of that view, we believe self-creation. So that also is a very sort of helpful individual. If you do good thing, good action to others, you get benefit. If you do harm others, you get negative consequences. So you can't blame anyone. Just hold responsibility, relying on your own shoulder. So that way of approach, also you see to some people, I think including myself, quite sort of quite powerful. If you do not behave well, and nobody can save you, can protect you. So, more sort of the heavier sort of responsibility. So, if possible, serve other, help other. If not, restrain harming other. So that's our main practice. So, religious harmony, very, very possible and very necessary. Nowadays, in the name of different religion, it's a killing. Even Buddhists now in Burma, some Buddhists harming some Muslim. Very sad. Then Christian, Muslim, within Christian, I have been a few times in Northern Ireland. Catholics, Protestant, they consider each other almost like enemy. The other, almost non-believer, they consider that kind of thing. So we really need constant effort to promote religious harmony on the basis of mutual understanding, mutual respect, mutual admiration, and realize 7 billion human beings need variety of method to promote love, compassion. Now my main commitment, that's promotion of human value. Now this title,
Beyond religion.
Beyond religion. So this I must just make some explanation. This title, not I recommended, but the publisher made that. So when I saw, that book, my book, I felt, it may create some misunderstanding. Beyond religion means or something above religion. No. What I'm explaining is actually basis of all major religions. So beyond here means religions, no matter how wonderful, will not cover entire humanity. Now today, according to some sort of statistics, they say out of 7 billion, 1 billion human beings are non-believer. So we cannot exclude these people. These also human beings. They also deserve our love, our sense of care. So, and then, frankly speaking, I often is telling, just coming here, also I mentioned to my two sisters, brothers, I mentioned, even among believers, there are some mischievous believers also there. So this shows they believe something, but deep inside, lack of conviction about moral ethics. So they carry religion like more ceremonial way, or worse thing, religion also use instrument for exploitation, including some Tibetan lamas also exploiting in the name of Buddhist religion. So therefore, we really need effort to promote moral ethics, not through ceremony or few teaching, rituals, but through systematic way to educate. Moral ethics is really very, very important for happy life, individual level, family level, community level, or national level or global level. That we can teach. As a result of a meeting or discussion with number of scientists now, nearly 30 years. Now, number of now medical scientists, now they say, calm mind, peaceful mind, very, very important for good health. So usually we say, healthy mind is very important for healthy body. Some scientists say, constant fear, anger, hatred, actually eating our immune system. So we can educate people. Usually I call hygiene of emotion. Hygiene of physical include our in education curriculum. Now hygiene of emotion should add. So very healthy body, but mentally too much worry, too much stress. I think among the audience, perhaps some people, short moment, feel peace, happy. But as soon as you reach your own home, lot of stress, I think. So these things, see, too much stress, blood pressure increase, and you also lose your sleep or digestion, like that. So therefore, they just tranquilizer or alcohol or some sort of picnic, few moments or even few weeks, go different places. It's something like painkiller. The problem is still there. So we need the fundamental level to counter fear, anger, hatred. We all equip that because we all come from our mother. Biologically, we equipped sense of affection because we grown up at least few years entirely depend on mother, mainly mother, and also someone else. You see, we received tremendous sort of affection from mother. So those children who received maximum affection in early life, deep inside, much peaceful, much calm. Those individuals who received lacking that kind of affection or grown up with fear, I think deep inside, some kind of sense of insecurity. And that automatically creates fear, distrust. So we are a social animal. We need certain mental level, certain sort of element to bring together. That's affection, not anger, not jealousy, not hatred. So those persons, this is who in deep inside fear, then very difficult to develop trust other. Without trust, how can develop friendship? So we need friendship. Even animal, those social animals, biologically, they're equipped. Sense of community, helping each other. So we, social animal, biologically, we equip that. Now, the thing is, we should not take for granted these things, these values. At the very early life, these things are very alive. But when we grown up, the whole environment, more materialistic sort of life, and materialistic culture. Then most important, existing education system oriented about material values. Not much talk about this inner value. So that I feel, and also my friend, some educationists, some scientists, we agree. We are lacking the systematic sort of education to bring awareness in the minds of students, the inner value, these things. So now here, this is not among believers, but entire 7 billion human beings. So we need different way of approach about promotion of the moral ethics, which acceptable to everybody and also non-believer. So then again in India, the secular concept of secular. In the West, my friend, some Muslims, some Christians, they have some reservation. According to the Western sort of the understanding, then secular is a little bit sort of disrespect religion or distance from religion. But according to Indian understanding, not like that. Modern India's constitution based on secularism. So according to Indian understanding, secular means respect all religions and also non-believers. So that now we fully committed to promote inner value through secular way of approach. So now in education, now some of my friends already committed and also is experimenting. So some sort of also the education curriculum about this inner value. So I think next few years, I think some sort of some program I think will be available. Then I think, of course, I think worthwhile. Some school, as an experiment, teach such things, then see few years what result. If good result, if convinced, then can expand 10 schools or 100 schools, 1,000 schools like that. So that's the real meaning of beyond religions. So now here, my friends, brothers and sisters, please think more seriously. If you have some serious interest, then further discuss with your friends and physicians or as a scientist or educationist. This is concern for humanity, So we have to take seriously about concern of humanity because we are social animals. Then the modern reality, the global warmings, that's the problem of humanity, not one nation, two nations, but whole world. Because of global warming, nature disaster will increase. And then global economy related with whole humanity. So, according to that reality, not only morally speaking, but practically, we need sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. Too much self-centered attitude is the ultimately troublemaker. Take care more others' well-being, family level, community level, gradually global level, then no basis of violence. How can, if you take seriously, sincerely about others' well-being, how can bully them? How can cheating them? So yes, you see, that is, I myself follower of that asota, worship that spirit in, I think, at least 2-3 decades. Then I notice. So we carry thorough research since 5th Dalai Lama and till 13th Dalai Lama, and most of the well-known Gelug masters as well as Sakya masters, except a few, but 400 years, all consider this is evil spirit. So then I realized my own mistake out of ignorance. So that's the problem. So you have to study whole sort of stories, history. Then you know. The 5th Dalai Lama consider this spirit, Shugden, is Nanam Lobe Thamsi.
The 5th Dalai Lama recognized this Shugden spirit as a force that has arisen out of a distorted aspiration and also a source of harm.
Then 13th Dalai Lama also put a lot of restriction. So I have to follow. So then right from the beginning, I made clear, it is my duty, explain what is the reality, whether listen or not, up to individual. Like that. So some demonstrations, you see, welcome. You express your own sort of feeling, then that make known more people. So once people knows the reality, then they will follow. Otherwise, you see, a lot of ignorance. Myself, 14th Dalai Lama, as you mentioned, reincarnation of jealousy, also follow out of ignorance. Like that. So that's about my talk, Kasachukti.
Beyond religion.
Beyond religion. That's my main sort of talk. So I have 3 commitments. Number 1 commitment, as a human being, I promoting human value, concern about 7 billion humanity. Then, as a Buddhist, promoting religious harmony. Then third, as a Tibetan, now political responsibility, I completely retired now, since 2011. Now I completely retired. Not only myself retired, but also almost 4-century-old tradition. Since 5th Dalai Lama, the Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both temple and spirituality. Now that ended. Voluntarily, happily, proudly ended. So I have no political responsibility. Now my main concern is preservation of Tibetan Buddhist culture and very rich Nalanda tradition of Tibetan Buddhist culture, Tibetan Buddhist knowledge. It's something really worthwhile to preserve. And particularly now in China, over 400 million Buddhists. So therefore, preservation of Tibetan Buddhist tradition is really worthwhile. Not only concern for Tibetan, 6 million Tibetan, but also several millions in that part of the world. And then one aspect of Tibet problem is ecology. That also related with over 1 billion human beings' life depend on those rivers which come from Tibet. And then Tibetan culture. I usually make a distinction. Buddhism with Buddhist culture. Buddhist culture, usually I describe culture of non-violence, culture of compassion. So that kind of culture is really worthwhile to preserve. Thank you.
Now I'm going to engage in a little bit of conversation with His Holiness, and after that, Bishop Buddy is going to share some questions that have come in both from students and from people on the web that they would like to ask His Holiness. First of all, you've been at this a long time. I mean, you have been in this struggle for several years, and I'm thinking about all the great struggles for justice have been long struggles. Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., the list goes, Gandhi, the list goes on and on. How do you sustain yourself in this long struggle? How do you persist? How do you keep going?
Firstly, our problem, the solution which we approach is not one-side victory, one-side defeat. No, mutual benefit. So it is truthful. No matter what past history, today's reality. I always admire the spirit of European Union and also India. East India, West India, South India, North India, different language, different script. But no reason separate. Common interest live together. So I always say, look, we very much willing remain within the People's Republic of China, provided since we have our own unique cultural heritage of these things, and also environment quite delicate. Therefore, we should have meaningful self-rule or autonomy. So, it's really, morally speaking, it's really, truthful, honest. So, number of Chinese, government level something different, but Chinese, I think, number of Chinese fully support and showing solidarity with us. So our goal is something, a good thing for everybody, and our method also is sincerely, fully committed non-violence, then mutually agreeable solution. Therefore, some setbacks, That's okay. I usually used to telling our struggle is something like struggle, power of tooth and power of gun. Long run, I believe, power of tooth is more stronger. So that's the real. And also, you see, as a Buddhist monk, Buddhist practitioner, you see, pray to entire sentient being, and then particularly entire sort of humanity, and then including our own problem. I really concern people from China, most populated nation, great nation. So, build compassionate society in China, I think is really very, very important in that part of the world. And because of sheer population, and economically also now becoming important. So that, and number of Chinese also is to want more change, want more freedom, like that, and transparent. That's very, very important. For the government own interest, the transparency brings trust, respect from others. So secrecy, these things are very harmful. So we are, you see, doing something meaningful. So no reason to demoralize. And also, you see, I'm often telling people, the aim is if you just sort of carry some work for your own lifetime, well, I mean, expecting some positive result within your own lifetime, then that is self-centered attitude. Not thinking, don't bother whether you see result, whether materialize within my lifetime or not, that doesn't matter. It's worthwhile. It's a carry these sorrows, the struggle.
You talk about compassion, and you say, I mean,
then I think a simple thing is, remain pessimistic or optimistic, much better optimistic.
That's true.
I think health viewpoint also, that's much better.
Yeah.
So there's not much choice.
That's right.
Except, you see, keep your enthusiasm, your hope, and then also, right from the beginning, we always say, emphasis, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So last now, over 60 years, and since we become refugee, now 55 years, you see, we carry that sort of belief. Prepare worst.
Compassion and justice. You talk about compassion, and you also seek justice, correct?
That's right.
So, so you're essentially trying to honor both at the same time. You don't see compassion and justice as
right. I think compassion there. I think justice automatically come.
That's great.
Injustice, exploitation, or bully other. You see, self-centered attitude.
I was struck reading your book with how much you and Pope Francis share a concern for exploitation and the poor. Have you thought about, as the new Pope has emerged, have you thought about the ways in which your teaching is very similar?
Oh yes, right from the beginning. Although I didn't met, I think in Argentina maybe, but I can't remember. But since he became Pope, see, some of his expression and his sort of practice, action, really wonderful, very realistic. And then previous Pope, the German Pope, of course, that previous, the Polish Pope, all these wonderful spiritual leaders. The German Pope, you see, emphasis, reasons and faith must go together. I think wonderful. So you see, some people have the view, science and spirituality or faith, something
In conflict.
conflict. No. Faith related with inner value, inner peace. Science related with physical comfort. No problem. We need both.
You received the Templeton Prize, which is about the relation of science and religion, and you write a lot about science. How has science informed your understanding of what it means to be human? You were talking about we have God's DNA in us earlier. Has science influenced your religious belief at all?
Kasa, sure. Of course, my interest about science from childhood, some interest there.
Telescope. Right?
Oh yes.
Telescope, right?
And then I think some may know, or most of you may not know. About 40 years ago, I developed genuine desire, discussion with scientists. So one my friend, one American who follow Tibetan Buddhism, I expressed my desire, that thing. Then that person, you see, told me or warned me, science is killer of religious faith. Then I thought, no. As far as Buddhism is concerned, particularly Nalanda tradition, one famous quotation of Buddha's was a teaching. Buddha says, "O my follower, should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So sometimes I describe Buddha could be ancient times one scientist. He emphasizes investigation and experiment. So that is scientific way, is that way. So because of that, some of his followers, like Nagarjuna, famous Nalanda scholar, you see, they raise questions, some of Buddha's own teaching, whether we should accept this teaching or not. If certain teaching goes against reasons, then we have the right to reject that. So therefore, I felt no problem to engage in dialogue with scientists. Then one casualty, what happened is now I have no longer acceptance about Mount Meru in the center of the world. Some traditional Buddhist cosmology, some text, you see, mentioned world flat in the center, Mount Meru, sun, moon, almost same size, and then go like that. That, no longer believe that. So publicly, I tell him. So some Tibetan old monk, a little bit uneasy.
I have one more question, and then I'll turn it over to the bishop.
Then on the other hand, you see, of course, we learned a lot of useful sort of knowledge about matters. And like quantum physics, really wonderful. That's actually 2,600 years ago. You see, Buddha already mentioned the essence of because of the absence of independent existence. That means absence of existence from objectively. So as far as matter is concerned, quantum physics very same. Then psychology. My sound may be a little bit presumptuous. The Western psychology, the knowledge about mind, compare ancient Indian knowledge about mind or emotions. The Western knowledge is like kindergarten level. So as a result of the discussion with scientists, now many scientists really appreciate to get more information from ancient Indian psychology, including Buddhist psychology. So you see, the meeting with scientists really mutual benefit, really helpful. So later, you see, those old monks who have some reservation at the early period, now they agree, fully support me. Only casualty is Mount Meru. That doesn't matter.
Your Holiness, we have 3 students who would like to address you and to ask you a question, and I'd like to invite them to come to the microphone now. And before you ask your question, if you could introduce yourself as well.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My name is Andrew Teplitz. I'm a senior at St. Albans. You have described yourself as a simple monk, and yet you are the spiritual leader of Tibet. How do you stay humble and true to yourself in the face of such pressure?
How do you stay humble?
I always look when I meet people, other, including king, queen, or president. I always look human level. The human level appears very nice, very compassionate. Then I develop respect. If that level, not that much. Then secondary level, high position. Then of course I have to respect, but here not much feeling. So I always say, look, human level. That's why I always see concern or talk 7 billion human beings, regardless believer or non-believer, or what position. This is secondary level. Our problem, we are too much emphasis about secondary level of differences. If we go to fundamental level, then no basis quarrel. 7 billion human beings, others want happy life, do not want suffering, do not want problem. Me too. So the other day, some questioners, you see, asked me humbleness, humility, and sort of tough sort of decision. I told, fundamental human level, humility automatically. Now, for example, here I'm talking. If I emphasize, I'm Buddhist, I'm Tibetan, I'm Buddhist. And furthermore, I'm His Holiness 14th Dalai Lama. Then, actually, it makes distance from you. Unless another Dalai Lama, then equally talk. So you see that actually, creates myself like prisoner. Too much emphasis. I'm something special. Then distance from other. You consider you yourself something important, something special. Then that brings uneasiness.
That brings little inner tension. That also sometimes bring hypocrisy, saying nice thing without much feeling here, isn't it? So much better. So usually I meet people. I always look human level. We are same. They have problem in emotion. I also have the problem. Occasionally I also, disturbed by my anger. So we all have the same sort of experience. Emotionally, mentally, physically, we are same. So on that level, we can easily sort of share each other's experiences. The secondary level, then different faith, different races, different nationality, like that. A different position. Sometimes the people, my own staff member, they're too much concerned about the position. I don't care. It's silly. So long we are same human being and talk human level, much easier. So I responded the other day, humility, humbleness, if we think human level, then automatically come. Now sometimes you need tough decision. Then second level is your own sort of special responsibility, like that. Then sometimes you need some sort of firm toughness. Okay, that also must be motivated, sincere concern of humanity. That's very, very important. Yes.
Thank you, Your Holy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How old are you? May I know?
I'm 18 years old.
Kasa? 18. Very good. So long future. Yes.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My name is Kate Smart. I go to National Cathedral School. Last week, you met with President Obama and infuriated the Chinese government in the process. Why do you think one of the world's strongest and most powerful governments is so upset by your work?
Kasa. Ask them. As I mentioned earlier, we really love Chinese people, admire Chinese people. Chinese people, hardworking, realistic, very efficient people. So their system, now I think really harmful to develop Chinese individual creativity freely. That is sad. So sometimes we criticize some of their, and I often telling people, mainly it's the Chinese audience, I tell them, 1.3 billion Chinese people have every right to know the reality. Once 1.3 billion people knows the reality, they also have the ability to judge what is right, what is wrong. And then censorship cannot carry outside the world, only within China. So actually censorship is fooling their own people. I think disrespect. I really feel that. Then one important thing is that I often used to criticize. Then Chinese judiciary system must uplift international standard. Then millions of Chinese poor people, particularly Chinese farmers, then get real protection. I met number of Chinese. One occasion, one farmer, his physical very weak. his dress, very poor. Then now here I may tell the whole story. So one group of Chinese from mainland China, some, I think the teachers, some kind of professions, their dress also very good. Then that farmer sit there. I usually believe socialism pay more attention about poorer section of people. Therefore, even if those well-being, the Chinese, these professionals, they look down that person. So then I pay special attention about that poor person. Then I inquire their sort of situation in their village. Terrible. Poor people. No protection. No one take care. The local officials, their only interest or only care is money and use power. Really. So judicial system must uplift. Like that. So one time, I think in 80s, one of my friend, Jonathan Muskie, now he become very old. Last year I met him. A journalist who speaks Chinese also. So I think in early 80s, you see, he asked me, why is the Chinese government, you see, because of the, always criticize you? Then I respond him, I'm not acting like yes minister. Whatever they say, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. I'm not doing that. So therefore, you see, they got angry. I told him, he laughed like that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Your age?
I'm 17.
17, oh, other 18, 17. Now next one.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My name is Rachel Seidel, and I'm a sophomore at St. Andrew's Episcopal School. How would you describe the timeline of your faith? Were there difficult times that inspired you, good times that led you down the road for justice, or times that helped you remember why you do what you do and believe what you believe?
Sorry. That I already, I think, touched. So basically, your own motivation must be very sincere. And then object of your doing also must be realistic, noble, realistic. That's very, very important. Sometimes our desire, our hope, unrealistic sort of goal. So without knowing the reality, then our whole approach becomes unrealistic approach. Any unrealistic, no matter what sincere motivation or goal, unrealistic method bring difficulties or disaster. So our approach must be realistic. So for that, objectively investigate what you want, can achieve or not. Thoroughly investigate. If you too much sort of your desire put in it, then you can't see the reality. For example, one of my sort of friend was one scientist, American scientist, Arun Beck. Years his sort of study, investigation, he found when we develop anger, the object which we feel angry appears very negative, but actually 90% of that negativeness is your own mental projection. He's a scientist. Buddhist literature also same way. Anger, disattachment, all these destructive emotion comes. Kasoda, you can't see the reality. Very much impose your own wish. So that's, as a Buddhist sort of, I'd say, Kasoda, a student of Nalanda tradition. You see, we always, emphasis, thorough investigation, whether can achieve or not. So that, very, very helpful. So, much less disappoint, because right from the beginning, your approach is more realistic. So you also, I think young, what was your age now?
I'm 16.
Oh, 16, 17, 18. Who arranged that? So in any way, I usually telling people, generation of 20th century, we all belongs to that generation. Now you, three of you, generation of 21st century. So 20th century already gone. We can't change that. Only we can experience, learn from experience. Now 21st century, now 14 years, now 30 years passed, now beginning of 20, 80, beginning of 86, not 86. Okay. Just the beginning of 21st century. So, future yet to come. And also future unpredictable. But as far as human behavior is concerned, if we use our intelligence properly and use our warm-heartedness also, much depend on intelligence. As I briefly mentioned, the biological factor of compassion from the beginning there. So gradually, when real life starts and attend school, then not much talk about these inner value. So the education now become very important to maintenance about these basic human values. Then further, our biological factor of affection is limited. Only your own friend. And much depend on their attitude. Now through education, not then talking about humanity, 7 million human beings, and also other animals, through knowledge, through awareness, then we can extend our love, compassion, no matter what their attitude. So our love, compassion can extend towards entire sentient being, and including your enemy. So now here you have to make distinction. As far as the enemy, as a human being, deserve love. We should keep our compassion. As far as their wrongdoing, unjust action is concerned, we have to take counter measure. So make a distinction, actor and action. Actor is concerned, we must, they also, according to theistic religion, they are also a creature of God. So they are wrongdoing, they are harmful action. not created by God, but out of because of free will. Then these things happen. So we need countermeasure like that. So that easily, you see, we can think one's own mistake when we do confession. Confession. At that moment, you make distinction. Your past wrongdoing, you now realize wrong. So confess. So in order to protect or save yourself. So here, when we have the sort of ability, distinction, wrong action and actor. So similarly, look, your enemy, their action is concerned, appropriate sort of counter sort of action. And necessary. Out of sense of concern of their well-being, if led continuously, their wrongdoing, they will spoil. Clear? So like that. So like a doctor, you see, according to their sort of physical condition, they put some restrictions, isn't it? That actually helping patient, isn't it? So you, the generation of 21st century, now you have the ability or opportunity to create this century, happier century. Happier century, not in the sense of just money or power or weapon. Compassion here. Even poor family, full of compassion, that family feel very happy. Or family, very rich, very powerful, lacking compassion, and that home, not necessarily very happy human family. So that's very, very important. So therefore, you have the, one way, you have opportunity. Now we begin to say bye-bye. So you, just the beginning, your life. So please keep your enthusiasm and wider perspective. Whenever you face some problem, look from wider perspective. Then you can keep your inner strength. If you look only negative side, then sometimes demoralize. If you look from wider perspective, there's a lot of reasons feel optimism. One particular case, something very bad, very painful. If you look only that, then much disturb, demoralize, discourage. So we, as I mentioned earlier, basic human nature is gentleness, compassionate. That's the basis of hope. And through education, humanity become more mature. I think early part of 20th century, in later part of 20th century, I think humanity's thinking, much changed. Because of maturity, this I feel. Through difficult sort of experiences, then very helpful to become more experienced, mature. I think humanity in 20th century, a lot of difficulties, problems. So eventually, I think we become, generally speaking, more wiser. Some individual exception is always there. So, thank you. And particularly, I want to share America, the real leading nation of free world. So you, the younger generation of this country, you see, you should think humanity level, global level, not just, you see, United States alone. Very important. And for that, if you have sort of sufficient money, then go different part of the world and look, see the situation. And then also, you see, you can understand the different races, different color, same emotion, same desire, want peace, want happy life. So if you just remain your own sort of country and your own area and complain. If you see wider, then I think complaint may become less. A lot of problems there. And also you see, build more enthusiasm. I must do something. And the United States must do something, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Right. So, thank you.
Thank you again, Your Holiness.
Thank you. So here, I want to add. You see, one sentence I want to add. When I meet, you see, young people, as I mentioned, the 21st century generation. So I usually say telling them, now we belong to the 20th century. So therefore, your sort of good result from your effort, we may not see. So I usually say, half joke, we might be in heaven or hell. Even hell, I get some permission 1 week or 2 weeks, visit world, what they are doing.
I'll join you.
Oh yes, very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Would you give a blessing to people? Would you give a blessing to people?
Okay. And I think, short prayer. 창조 선조는 뭐지? 마계반함 계교지. 개와 냠바 매바냥 권내 권도 배워라 쇼. 담바지는 가서 저마다 담바니 신도 사와도 뜻이 푸는 신도 담바에 담바유는 내가 뜻이쇼. 지선한 건 내봐도 좋아지지 내주고 뜻이 나는 내주는 저의 동네 사와라 쇼. I think short translation.
His Holiness offered 3 prayers. The first one reads in the following. May the precious mind of altruism may it grow where it's not been, where it has not taken birth, and where it has, may it ever increase more. And the second one was, may the world see great auspiciousness and prosperity of the coming of great spiritual teachers. May all the spiritual practitioners live in harmony and mutual respect. And may the great spiritual traditions remain alive for long. And then the third prayer is, as long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and help dispel the misery of the world.
Is that last sentence? I always recite that. That really gives me inner strength. So, although brothers, sisters, you see, no concept of previous life, but future life, you happily remain in heaven. You also, no end. So very good. If you go hell, then endlessly remain there. Oh, quite difficult. Otherwise, you see, we can, this lifetime, you see, as a spiritual brothers, sisters, I think as a Buddhist, endless next lives. And you also in heaven, you see, can look remaining other sort of world Okay, isn't it? So,
Yes.
so this prayer, I think, can be common.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all. Now finish.